Tomahawk DIY, everyone. I'm Mike. Today we're taking a look at a flat tire. We've got a problem here. This tire is flat. It's not too hard to replace. You can buy a new tube on Amazon. I'll include a link in the description. And with some basic tools and a little bit of time, you can fix your flat tire. Let me show you how. Alright, so the first step is to get your tire off. This is a rear tire, so it's a little bit more complicated than a front tire, but we're just taking a wrench and we're going to loosen the nut. You don't need to take it all the way off. We'll do it on both sides. On this bike, we've got this screwdriver here and this little arm that's holding things on, so we need to get this off as well. Alright, with the screw out we can get this thing loosened. Now because there's a chain here, we'll have to get the chain off. So you get your hands a little bit greasy. You can use gloves if you want. But we got the chain off the gear. With the wheel out, the next step is to get the tire off the rim. Make sure you get your valve cap off. So you just untwist that. Now if your tire is not flat, but you're changing the tire for whatever reason, you want to let the air out. You can do that with the inside of the valve stem there. There's a little button in the middle you push a screwdriver onto and it'll let air out. Pretty easy, just like that. So for the next step, we're going to use some tire levers. Some people use screwdrivers. That runs the risk of puncturing your tire. Alright, with the tire lever, we're going to pinch the wheel in and get it in. We're going to get the lever in under the lip. Okay, just like that. And then you can hook it around a spoke to hold it in place. Alright, with the second lever, we're going to work it in as well and start pulling the tire out. It should reach a point where we can actually just slide it around, just like so. Now we've got the wheel loose, tubes on the inside. So from this point, we can do a couple things. Watch your valve stem. You're going to want to push it inside. Now we can take the whole tube out as is, or we can take the entire wheel off. I like to leave the tube on just because I like to leave the tire on because it's a little easier to put everything back together. So we'll just slide it out like so. Alright, now one caution when you're repairing a flat tire, one of the most important things to do is make sure you're not going to get another flat. So this is where you might actually want to take the entire tire off. You want to inspect the inside of the tire to ensure we're not going to have a thorn or piece of glass or nail or something that punctures our tire once again. With the first lever in here, we'll just turn this over and we'll run it around the outside of the wheel again. Give it a pull, we got it off. Now we can inspect the inside of our tube. So you want to check in there, look in the light, and watch for any kind of thorns. You can run your fingers inside. Make sure you don't have anything that's going to be puncturing your tube. And this is fairly easy to do. One key thing to check for is watch for the arrow that indicates the direction of rotation. And then you want to make sure that is pointing in the right direction so that your tire's rolling in the correct direction. Most tires are, have a recommended direction of travel. So we're going to start putting this wheel back on, putting the tire back on, I should say, on the rim. And we'll just work it around. We can use our levers again if need be. So now that we've got one side on, we'll be able to put our tube in. Grab your new tube. If you want to pick one up from Amazon, click the link in the video description. you can find the size of your tube printed on the edge of the tire. So, to get this back on, pay attention to your stem. That's a key part. You're going to find the hole in the rim and get these lined up. Then we're going to want to line your tube up so it ends up nice and flat. So we're just going to work this in all the way around the tire. Okay. With that in, we're going to get our stem put in through the hole. Like so. And then we're going to get our tire put back on. Just like that. Now, another trick to help keep from pinching your tire, or pinching the tube and potentially causing another flat. So we'll put some air in, we'll fill it up, but then we'll let the air back out to try and get it to align correctly if there's any place where it's out of alignment, and then we'll fill it back up a final time before we start writing on it. So let's add some air. Okay, now we're going to let the air out. Now we'll add the air back in and get it up to the right pressure. On the side of your tire, it'll tell you what your minimum and maximum pressure is. In this case, it's 35 psi minimum, 55 psi maximum. So now we're ready to put it back onto the bike. Okay, so we're ready to slide this thing back on and get our chain in place. So think about how the chain goes. You want to get it lined up. And then once it's in place, we can get it worked over the gear. So put this screw in with the bolt, or this nut and bolt. Get that tightened down. I might need to grab my wrench to tighten it. This one's going to be fine just by hand tightening it. And then I'm going to check my alignment of the tire, make sure it's aligned nice and centered here, and we'll tighten the bolts down. Now if your chain is too loose, you're going to have to loosen these and slide the wheel back a little bit farther. Right, everyone, there we have it. We've fixed this flat tire on the bike. Thanks for watching Tomahawk DIY. Like the video, leave some comments. Have a great day.